The new year is upon us, and that means it's inauguration season here in the US. But considering what happened the last time we tried to go through this process, people are a little on edge about all of it. And that includes our members of Congress. By the time you watch this, perhaps the incoming Congress will already have taken their seats in those hallowed halls, but turmoil is already afoot. You all remember the struggle to keep the government open just before Christmas. Well, that struggle isn't over, and Speaker Mike Johnson now finds himself fighting to keep his position.
I'm really humbled and honored to have President Trump's endorsement for Speaker again. He and I work so well together, so closely together, and we have a lot of big things to do. He recognizes that what we need right now, I think my colleagues recognize this as well, is a proven fighter and a true MAGA conservative, but also someone who can work with every single member of our very diverse House GOP so that we can get President Trump's priorities over the line. That's what's ahead of us. I think this could be the most consequential presidency and Congress of the modern era because we have to fix everything, and it has to start on day one, so we can't waste any time.
Several Republicans in the past weeks have suggested that they no longer support Johnson as Speaker, a situation that could not be more ill-timed for the president-elect. If Republicans decide to oust Johnson, they run the risk of not having a sitting speaker in time to certify Trump's re-election and inaugurate the new president. So here's the timeline. The new session of Congress begins on January 3rd, and the election is certified on January 6th. On the 3rd, the new Congress is supposed to choose a speaker, and then the new speaker swears in any new congresspeople. Now, usually this takes place without much ado, especially in a situation where House leadership hasn't changed parties from one administration to the next. Johnson is already the speaker, so typically they would just let him keep being speaker on January 3rd. But nothing is typical anymore, and experts are worried that the recent dissent amongst Republicans could lead to a constitutional crisis where we don't have a speaker on January 3rd, the new members of Congress cannot be sworn in, the election cannot be certified on January 6th, and ultimately Trump cannot be inaugurated on January 20th. And I don't like Trump, and I'm not excited about him getting inaugurated next month, but the US having no president to inaugurate on January 20th would be absolute chaos. Anyway, experts have reason to be concerned about January. With 434 current members of the House, that's 435 minus Matt Gaetz, Johnson needs a majority of votes in order to secure his speakership. Assuming that all Democrats vote against Johnson, he would need almost all of the Republicans to vote for him. Currently, there are 219 Republicans to 215 Democrats. That means if just a few Republicans do not vote for Johnson, we will all be in a very confusing and yes, unprecedented place. And yes, several Republicans have already expressed their reluctance to support Johnson going forward. And we have never been in a situation where we were approaching a January inauguration season without a speaker. So now the question is, what options are available to us if this all plays out? Well, some constitutional law scholars said that the joint session could proceed even without a speaker. Others thought the House clerk could potentially swear in the newly elected members of the House if both parties agree, or Republicans could elect a temporary speaker whose term expires on a particular day. If those efforts fail, there would be no one to certify Trump's election victory in time for the inauguration. And if that happens, we'd go down a very strange path. Biden's term would end on January 20th, regardless of whether or not a new president is sworn in. His vice president, Kamala Harris, would also be out on January 20th, so she can't be inaugurated. The Speaker of the House would be next in the line of succession, but without a speaker, it would then go to the Senate President pro tempore, and that is Republican Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa, who is currently 91 years old. Naturally, Trump is livid about all of this, and it's all part of his already frustrating power struggle with billionaire Elon Musk. With Trump desperate to assert himself as a leader and not a puppet, the drama unfolded in December when Musk managed to disrupt congressional proceedings to the point that it nearly shut down the government. While Trump wasn't entirely happy with Johnson throughout the congressional battle, he has since come out in support of Johnson for Speaker, presumably in an effort to not delay his certification and inauguration. And Elon is seemingly losing the civil war within the MAGA world that he helped to start. You have MAGA figures like Laura Loomer now calling the richest man in the world a welfare queen.
And what we need to have a conversation about is what is it going to mean for the future of our country, our national security, and the incoming Trump administration if we have a bunch of technocrats who are also essentially welfare queens because their companies are receiving government subsidies and they want to take over our defense industry. If you have a bunch of tech bros with billions of dollars and direct unfettered access to the vice president and the president of the United States, and then they are also, very cordial with our adversaries, as in China and Iran. We see that Elon Musk is having these meetings off the books with Iranian officials, with Chinese officials. What does that mean for us and the future of our constitutional republic?
We're also seeing Elon walk back some of his comments that lost him a great deal of MAGA support. Last week, he posted this on X regarding the H-1B visa, saying, "The reason I'm with America, along with so many critical people who built SpaceX, Tesla, and hundreds of other companies that made America strong, is because of H-1B. Take a big step back and F yourself in the face. I will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend." However, just a few days later, after receiving massive MAGA backlash, he tried to strike a more balanced tone on the issue, more balanced than threatening to go to war with Republican voters. He said that the H-1B program is broken, but easily fixed by raising the minimum salary significantly and adding a yearly cost for maintaining the H-1B, making it materially more expensive to hire from overseas than domestically. I've been very clear that the program is broken and needs major reform. I am confident that the changes made in the Trump administration will make America much stronger. Now, Trump and Musk are at odds again over Trump's backing of Mike Johnson for the speakership. But this is a good time to remember that Elon Musk hasn't just forcefully inserted himself into our political process in a way that we've never really seen done before. He has made himself powerful by making himself politically influential. And I'm not just talking about the fact that he bankrolled an entire political campaign. He made himself influential by making his voice louder and his celebrity bigger. He is powerful now because so many have conceded power to him. Perhaps things are in play now that are too big and too great to walk back, but never forget that Elon is where he is today because we put him there. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.